Welcome you all students, come back to our next video. In today's topic, we are going to see about representing the decimal numbers on the number line. In previous class, we have learnt about what is decimal numbers and fraction of decimal numbers, and we also see about the comparison of decimal numbers. Here, we are going to see about representing a decimal number on the number line. We all know about the decimal number. Here, we need to represent decimal number on the number line. So we have already learned to represent fractions on the number line. Now let us see a representation of decimal numbers on a number line. For that, let us consider decimal number be 0.8. So that is, there are 8 tenths. We know that 0.8 is more than 0 and less than 1. Let us divide the unit length into 10 equal parts and take 8 parts as shown below. So we will be shown below of the scale. We need to divide the unit length into 10 equal parts and take the 8 parts. Draw a number line and divide the intervals into 10 equal parts. Now 0.8 lies between 0 and 1. We know that 0.8 is more than 0 and less than 1, and it lies between 0 and 1. So here is the scale. Here we see the number lines which is divides the unit length into 10 equal parts. You can see here it can be divided into 10 equal parts. So for every value after 0 we can represent it by 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5 and 0.6, 0.7 and 0.8. So finally 0.8 lies between 0 and 1. So here the 0.8 is marked. So you need to represent the decimal number 0.8 on the number line like this. Okay students? Okay students, now we move on to a problem on exercise 1.4 about the decimal numbers. Okay? So what's the first problem given here? The first problem given here is write the decimal numbers represented by the points P, Q, R and S on the given number line. So here they given the number line and they represent the points by P, Q, R and S. We need to write the decimal numbers for the represented point of P, Q, R and S. Okay students. So before we enter into a solution, we just recall the number line. So here number line start with 0 means after that what is the number given? Number is 0.1 and after the line is represented by 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5, 0.6, 0.7, 0.8, 0.9 and after that we can represent the line by 1. After 1 what it will become? 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, 1.5 and so on it will be moves on. So after every line, the line will be represented by the 0.1. Okay. So following this, we need to write decimal numbers for the given point of P, Q, R and S. So first we find the point of Q. Okay. So for a first easier way, you can take Q lies between which two numbers? Q lies between? Good. Q lies between 1 and 2. Okay. So first you can write it as Q lies between 1 and 2. Q lies between 1 and 2. Now what is the decimal number represented by the point Q? Shall we count it? After 1 what will we say? After 1 it is represented by 0.1. So 0.1 plus 1 we get 1.1. So after the 1, 1.1, 1.2, 1.3. So Q is marked on the line of 1.3. So what is decimal number represented by the Q point? Q represent Q represent the point of 1.3. Okay, students. Now following this we can write for P also. So now you can see P lies between which two numbers? P lies between 3 and 4. Okay. So P lies between 3 and 4. So now what is the decimal number represented by the P point? After 3 we can say it as 3.1, 3.2, 3.3, 3.4, 3.5, 3.6. So what is the decimal number represented by the P? So P represent 3.6. Following this we can identify S and R. Okay. So what is the S? Lies between 4 and 5. Good. So S lies between the line of 4 and 5. So S represent which decimal number? After 4 what will be considered? We can take 4 after each line will be represented by 0.1. So after 4 we will take us 4.1, 4.2. So S represents 4.2. Following that we can take for R also. So R lies between which two numbers? R lies between 6 and 7. So now R represent, what is the decimal number represented by the point R? After 6, 6.1, 6.2, 6.3, 6.4, 6.5, 6.6, 6.7 and this is 6.8. So R represents 6.8. So now we get the answer that Q represents 1.3, P represents 3.6, S represents 4.2 and R represents 6.8. And this is your final answer. You can write it as P of 1.3, P of 3.6, Q as 1.3 or 6.8 and S as 4.2. Okay, students. Now we move on to our next problem. The second problem given here is represent the following decimal numbers on the number line. So in previous problem, they draw the number line and they also mark on it. But here, we need to represent the following decimal numbers on the number line. So first step is we need to draw the number line scale. Okay. So here we need to draw from 0 to 6 or 7, anything. Okay. So we need to draw the number line. This is the first step. And second, we need to represent the decimal numbers on the number line. In previous problem, they mark the number line. We need to write the decimal number. Here, they given the decimal number. We need to mark it on the number line. So first step is to draw the number line. And what is the second step? We need to mark the decimal number on the number line. Okay, students. So what is the decimal number given? Here decimal number given is 1.7. So first we draw the number line. Next we need to mark the point on it. Okay. So 1.7. So what is the first easiest step to identify? So 1.7 is lies between which two numbers? 1.7 is lies between 1 and 2. So now we can calculate. After 1 what is represent? Yes, good. After 1 we can say it as 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, 1.5, 1.6 and 1.7. So 1.7, where is the line mark here? Here, okay. So we need to mark it over the number line and say this is our 1.7. Okay. So we need to mark it and write here value 1.7. Okay students. So this is our line where 1.7 is represent. Okay. Now we move on to our next division. The second division, the given quotient is 0.3. So what is the decimal number given? 0.3. Then what is the first step in our solution? First step is to draw the number line and mark the numbers. Okay. This is our first step. Second step, we need to represent the following decimal numbers on the number line. So here they given 0.3. We need to represent the 0.3 on the number line. So let me consider here 0. After 0 what we come? 0.1, 0.2, 0.3. So 0.3 represent where? Here. So here 0.3 is represent. So after that you can write this is the value of 0.3. Okay students. Now we move on to our third problem. The third problem given here is between which two whole numbers the following decimal numbers lie. So here they given the two decimal numbers 3.3 and 2.5. We need to say between which two whole numbers the following decimal numbers lie. So first we move on to our first division 3.3. So 3.3 lies between which two whole numbers? Yes, 3.3 lies between 3 and 4. 3.3 lies between which two whole numbers? 3 and 4. Now 2.5 lies between which two whole numbers? Good. 2.5 lies between 2 and 3. So if they ask the question, you need to write only between which two whole numbers the following decimal number lies means. So you need to write like this. Okay students. Now we move on to our next problem. The fourth problem given here is find the greater decimal number in the following. Okay. So here they given two decimal numbers of the following 2.3, 3.2 is the first division. Second division is 5.6, 6.5. We need to find which decimal number is greater. Okay. So for that, it is easier when we compare the decimal number with the whole part. Okay. So comparing the whole number parts of 2.3 and 3.2, then we get 3, 2. Okay. Now when comparing decimal into whole number means which is greater, 3 or 2? 3 is greater than 2. Okay. 3 is greater than 2. So following this we can able to write for the decimal also. So here 3.2 and 2.3, which is greater? 3.2. So 3.2 is greater than 2.3. So what is our greater number? Our greater number is 3.2. Following this we can able to write for the next sum also. Okay. So first easiest step is to compare the decimal with the whole number parts. Okay. So comparing the whole number parts of, what is the decimal number given here? 5.6 and 6.5. So we get 5 and 6. So which is greater here? 5 or 6? 6 is greater. Okay. So we can also write like this also. Which is the greater part, we can write it at first. And as the smallest point, we can also write it here. Okay. So 6 is greater than 5. Okay. So like this, we can also able to write for the decimal part. So what is the decimal number given here? 5.6 and 6.5. 6.5, 5.6. So which is greater? 6.5. So we can say that the greater number is 6.5. Okay, students. Now we move on to our fifth problem. The fifth problem given here is find a smaller decimal number in the following. Okay. So here are given two divisions. We need to find the smaller decimal numbers. Okay. So what is the easiest step? First we need to take it as the whole number parts. But here the whole number part is also equal. So we can use a comparing digit at a 10th place. Okay. So here the whole number parts are equal in both the decimal values. So we need to comparing the digits at 10th place. Okay. So we need to compare the digit at the 10th place means we get 0 and 3. So here with 0 and 3, which is smaller, because we need to find the smaller numbers. Okay. So this is smaller, 0 is smaller than 3. Okay. Now as a question we can take 25.03 and 25.3. Which is smaller? 25.03 is smaller than 25.3. So we can take the smaller number as 25.03. Okay, students. Now we move on to our second division. Here also, first we need to compare it with the whole number part. Here also the whole number parts are equal. So what we can take? We take the digit at 10th place. Okay. So comparing the digits at 10th place, we get, so what are numbers we get? Here 0 is here and here 3 is here. Okay. So we can take 0 as well as 3. Here which is smaller? 0 is smaller. Okay. Therefore we can write it as 7.01, 7.3. Now which is smaller? 7.01 is smaller than 7.3. So the smaller number is 7.01. Now you understand, students? Okay, students. I hope that you are clear and understand about the topic of representing a decimal numbers on the number line. Now, here are some of your follow-up work. The first problem is represent the following decimal numbers on the number line. So here they given a decimal number. We need to represent it on the number line. Okay, students. Next problem is between which two whole numbers the following decimal numbers lie. So here they given a decimal number. We need to say between which two whole numbers the decimal number will be lie. Okay. For example, in the first slide we can say of 0.8 which is lies between 0 and 1. So like that here also we need to say between which two whole numbers the decimal number 0.9 will be lie. Okay. The next problem, find the greater decimal number in the following. So here they given a 2 decimal number. We need to say which is the greater decimal number. Okay. The next problem. Find the smaller decimal number in the following. They given a 2 decimal number. We need to find which is the smaller decimal number in the given following. Okay students. Okay. I hope that you understand students. I see you in the next video students. Thank you students.